أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد بن عبد الله
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الأرجاس وطهرهم من الأدناس وجعل مودتهم أجرا على الناس ولا سيما على بقية الله في الأرضين الإمام المنتظر صاحب الزمان عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف ابن هداة المهديين وعلى صحبهم الأخيار المنتجبين وعلى جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين والشهداء والمجاهدين في سبيل الله منذ آدم إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، روي عن النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أنه قال تحفة المؤمن الموت. It has been narrated from our Holy Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم that the masterpiece or the pinnacle of the achievement, the absolute peak of a mu'min is maut, is death. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. When we speak about the kind of personalities we've been talking about over the last 10 odd days, people of this caliber, people of this enlightenment, it is not surprising how easy and how voluntary they were and how forthcoming they were towards death. Someone who is at this stage, it's not surprising. However, how forthcoming are we, you and I? I have to give my answer alone. Every one of us has to give an answer in the grave alone. And as we keep reminding ourselves that this death is something which will come to us and we don't know when, who will raise themselves from this carpet and leave this door, we don't know. Despite the fact that death is really the only certainty we have, we never discuss or speak about it. A person who is in university speaks about how he will get a job, what job he aims to get after it, what his plans are after it. Is his graduating first of all a certainty or not? We speak about when we get a promotion, what we will do, how we'll spend the money, moving houses, going to ziyarah, inshallah, we'll visit this. Is it a certainty it will happen or not? We make plans, Allah is the one who. So we talk about all of these things. Will you plan this, or get promotion, this, we'll do this, we'll have a family. The one who is not married speaks about getting married. The one who doesn't have children speaks about getting children. The one who has children speaks about getting his children married. The one who speaks about education. Whilst none of this is a certainty, the only certainty that we know all of us is definitely going to go through is death. But we never speak about this one. We keep far from this one. If we ask ourselves as a families, as communities, not as a family, around the dinner table, when was the last time as a family or as a group amongst friends, colleagues, we spoke about the concept or discussed the issue of death? Never. We don't want to speak about it. Despite it's the only thing we know which is going to happen. Apart from that, we don't know anything else for certain. When was the last time we spoke about death with someone, discussed the issue of death? We don't want to. But when I say speak about death, I don't mean we sit and think, oh, do you know that person died? That's not speaking about death. That's speaking about someone. No, speaking about death, when was the last time we did it? We don't. We want to keep away, as if it's not escaping the reality that it's going to happen. We don't want to acknowledge this reality, despite it's the only certainty. In fact, we want to run from it, as if it's not going to happen. As our master Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, he's telling his companions, for us also, talking to them saying, Antum turada'ul maut. You are trying to repel death away, trying to make it go away, as if it's not going to happen. Someone brings up the topic, we try to change the topic. Because we are afraid of this topic itself. Antum turada'ul maut. You're trying to drive it away. It's not going to be driven away. إن أقمتم أخذكم وإن فررتم منه إن فررتم منه أدرككم. If you stay where you are waiting for it, it will take you. And if you try to run away from it, it will catch you. وَهُوَ أَلْزَمُ لَكُم مِّن ظِلِّكُم. And it is, look at this, it is more attached to you than your own shadow. Amirul Momin alayhi salam. That your death is more, wherever we run, you cannot escape the shadow. It's following me no matter where I try to. Your death is more attached to you than your own shadow. Which, when this shadow will take me, I don't know. But there's no escape from it. Sometimes people like us, we hasten this process for some people. There was one sick person in a hospital. He was really very, very ill. So now that the doctors told him, if the family should come around, the final farewells, he's very ill. They call him Maulana, someone like me, to come and recite something for this person too. So the Maulana came, he was next to the person. When he stood next to the person's health deteriorated more. His heartbeat went down. So the Maulana came closer to him to recite something more powerful. When he came closer, the heartbeat fell further. The doctors were very worried. And that man was trying to speak, to tell him about his distress. But he was too weak to talk. And the Maulana came further in to hear what he wants to say. And the heart went slower still when he came closer. Until the man finally grabbed a pen and paper. The sick man jotted down what his last. And he gave it to the Maulana. As he did this, flatline, all the doctors came and they pronounced it. The next day was his funeral. So the funeral, they said to the Maulana, speak some words about this man, how good he was, how generous he was, maybe, to remind the people as they were taking his mayat. So Maulana remembered at that time the man had written something and he had put it in his pocket. So let me read it now, his last words, So Maulana opened it. On the thing he said, Maulana, please, you're stepping on my oxygen tube. The closer Maulana went, it's down the tube. It wasn't me, just for the record. So next time someone's ill, you shouldn't be afraid to call me. But sometimes death comes faster. But death shouldn't be something we fear. As believers, if we really claim that we are from the camp of Hussein alayhi salam, as we aspire to be, how should death be for someone? For our master, who we claim is our role model, the one we aspire to, the one who we follow, the one who was the brother of the Prophet, the one who the Prophet said, you and me are from one tree, everyone else is from? This one who was closest to the Prophet, not only he was indifferent with regard to death, not only he wasn't afraid of death, no, more than this. He said, La muriha kal-maut. There is no comforter like death. He was waiting for it to come as a comfort. When we go tonight home and we go to bed under that warm duvet or quilt, Imam is looking at death as the most comfortable thing. Not only he's not afraid, he's looking forward to go. If we realize what death is really, how we should be thinking about it, that it is this bridge. It's not the end. It's just the beginning. Death is just the beginning. It's just that bridge that takes me to the eternal life. From this temporary life. From this temporary life to the eternal life. And as our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ankabut, talking about death and the hereafter, وَإِنَّ دَارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَا هِيَ الْحَيَوَانِ, that indeed the hereafter, that is the real life. This is not life. You think this is life? You think this is enjoyable, comfortable, pleasurable, good food? This is nothing. The real life is still to come. It's like, you can imagine a 16, 17-year-old, maybe he just got his license, very excited to drive. The man, his father or his uncle comes into the house, he sees this 16 or 17-year-old teenager playing on his Xbox or something, this car games or racing games on his, because he loves to drive. So the uncle tells him, come outside, here's the car keys. Let's go and drive. Boy says, no, this is so much fun. I like it. Why is it fun? Because I like driving. If you like driving, I'm giving you the real car, come. So no, I'm happy with this one. We would think of this person as foolish. Because the real thing is waiting when he's loving the simulation inside. He doesn't move, he just looks at the screen. We are the same way. Allah is telling us, come to the akhirah, it is the real life. He said, no, we're happy over here. This, the last of the food and the pleasures, and is so comfortable. We love it. Allah is saying, if you love this, that's fine. I created it for you. But what I've created for you here is خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. It is better and it is everlasting. Why don't you want to? We don't want to come. It's true. When we would laugh at that teenager, but for ourselves we act exactly the same way. As we just mentioned from our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But this maut, this death is not an end. It is just a bridge to transfer to the eternal life. Means maut is not the end, rather maut is just the beginning. The eternal life is starting there. The greater life is starting there. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانِ, the real life is there. Maut is the beginning of that. We should be looking forward. And if you see how the Prophet describes this, that what we think as the end, him describing as the beginning, about death, he was giving some examples or parables or analogies of what death is like. Then he said, it is nothing but إِلَّا مِثْلُ خُرُوجِ الصَّبِيِّ مِنْ بَطْنِ أُمِّهِ. It is like nothing but the infant coming out of the womb of the mother. He's describing not birth, he's describing death. Death is like the coming out of the infant from the womb of the mother. مِنْ ذَلِكَ الْغَمْ وَالظُّلْمَ, from that dark and dingy womb, the squashed, dingy, dark womb, إِلَىٰ رَوْحِ الدُّنْيَا. He comes into the freshness and the lights of the world. Prophet is describing death like this. That death is like coming out from that dark and dingy, squashed up, restricted place to this wonderful world. Death is like this. You'll come out, you'll see. Imagine this is a dark and gloomy place. So you can imagine what is to come. The reality of what is to come. It is much greater that we should be looking forward. And as we mentioned the other night, just yesterday or the day before, I think we spoke about Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam talking to his son Al-Hassan alayhi salam, one Ma'soom talking to the other Ma'soom about this life and the position of this life. اعلم يا بني, that you should know, my dear son, أنك خلقت للآخرة لا للدنيا. You were created, you were made, you are the whole purpose of your being here. للآخرة لا للدنيا. You're not for this place, you were made for that. للموت لا للحياة. To face death, not to live here. This was not your purpose, this is not for the reason for which you were created. But I forget this. The ulama of akhlaq give us a parable into how we are in this whole process. A deep well on the floor, with the string or the rope hanging from the top. There is a man halfway down the deep well, halfway down, he is stuck, he is hanging on the rope. Up on the rope at the top, there is one black rat and one white rat eating away at the rope. The rope is about to go. He's thinning away at the rope, they're biting it, gnawing it, eating it away. The man is hanging underneath. The man sees on the inside wall of the well, there is some honey stuck. And the flies are going about that honey. And he's amazed by this sight. That there's a honey there, it must be very sweet. And the flies are picking at the honey and flying. There's a big swarm of flies. He's mesmerized by this sight. The ulama tell us your situation is like this. That well is there. That string, that rope from the top is your life. The black one is the night and the white one is the day. As the day and night are picking away at the rope, the nights and the day that pass are eating away at your lifetime. Anytime now the rope is going to break and you're going to fall to the bottom. Your mission is to climb as fast as you can to salvation. But you are mesmerized by the honey of this world. You forget that the black rat and the white night and day is eating away at your life. We only have limited time here. When that rope breaks, I don't know. Once it breaks, finish. Disaster. Regret. That rope is there for me to climb out of just now. So death is really, death, if one doesn't, then he's just destroyed in that well. If one pays attention, death is salvation from the well. This well is a very dark place. We shouldn't want to be here. Death is a release from that place. The akhirah, as we have from the hadith, for the mu'min is like a paradise, but for the disbeliever is like a jail, like a prison. As we have the hadith from Al-Hasan alayhi salam, our second holy imam. He was riding his very sublime horse, beautiful horse, with companions, very well dressed, imam was. And some scruffy man, who was enemy of the Ahlul Bayt, came in his way. He said, Hassan, has your grandfather not said that this dunya is a prison for the believer who want to go, and it is a paradise for the disbeliever? And look at you as if you're in paradise. This is like a prison for me. Imam replied to him, if you could see your akhirah, you would say this life is good for you, it's a heaven for you. If you saw my akhirah, you would say this is a prison for me. Imam was looking forward to go. If we say we are followers of the Imam, we have to ask ourselves, are we on the right track as followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salam, or we're not on the right? If we're not, we should leave, because we need to get on the right track. If we are on the right track, being followers of the Ahlul Bayt, then what are we afraid of? As Imam Hussein alayhi salam was riding towards Karbala, and his son Ali al-Akbar, who we commemorated days ago, Imam had a look on his face. His son tells him, Ya Abata, oh my father, you look worried. Imam explained to him, my son, you know we are riding towards a place we will not return. Ali al-Akbar understood that we are going to be martyred. What did he ask him? Oh my father, is there a way to go back? Oh my father, when will this come so we're ready for it? Oh my father, are we not on the right path? Imam said, we are. He said, then I am not concerned whether we ride towards death or death comes riding towards us. What was the criteria? Are we not on the right? So our question to each of us is here and now. Are we or are we not on the right path? If we say we are on the right path, then why are we so afraid of death? That Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam has us, Antum turada'ul maut, you are trying to drive it away. Why should we be like this? Maybe we do have some ahadith about the sakaratul maut, the pain of death. We have some. But in our cultures, unfortunately, we've overemphasized this part without bringing in the other side also, that Allah is waiting for His Habib, that Allah is more loving than the mother to the child, Allah is more loving than me to myself. Allah, as much as I want to be merciful to myself, Allah would wish me to be more merciful. On top of all of that, have I not picked the root of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam? So should I not be balancing that fear, disaster, calamity, death, with the bright side that death is something, as a follower of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, that Allah would welcome me with like this also? The mu'min, are you not mu'min? We are or we not? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told you, believe in me. Who here has seen Allah with their eyes? Yet you believed. You didn't believe or you didn't believe? Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came, and we have some hadith. There was this man in Arabia, he came and changed the planet. We believed in him or we didn't believe? Have you ever seen him? The 12 Imams, have we seen any of them? But from their words, the light they carry, we attach to them without seeing. Allah, we believed in Him without seeing. Prophet, I believed in you and the message you brought without seeing you, just your message. 12 Imams, I believed in them by their light and the principles they hold without seeing them. Are we mu'mineen or we're not mu'mineen? Okay? So let us look at what death is for the mu'min then. Because this is death for me and you. إِنَّ الْعَبْدَ الْمُؤْمِنْ, as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam says, indeed the believing servants of Allah, we said we are mu'min. إِنَّ الْعَبْدَ الْمُؤْمِنْ إِذَا كَانَ فِي الْقِطَى مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَإِقْبَالٍ إِلَى الْآخِرَةِ when that mu'min is on that verge of slipping off from this world and being introduced to the hereafter at the time of death. This is me and you we're talking about, so keep that in mind. نَزَلَ إِلَيْهِ مَلَائِكَةٌ مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ. Not an angel. Angels descend upon him from the heavens. بَيِّضُ الْوُجُوهِ. Bright, white-faced angels. كَأَنَّ وُجُوهَهُمُ الشَّمْسِ. As if their faces are as bright as the sun. Bright-faced, handsome angels descend on this believer. وَمَعَهُمْ كَفَنٌ مِّنْ أَكْفَانِ الْجَنَّةِ. They are carrying the burial shroud, kafan, from the kafan of Jannah, they are bringing for him. And the hadith continues, حَتَّى يَجْلِسُوا مِنْهُ مُدَّ الْبَصَرِ. How many angels come? 5, 10, 100? Until they descend and sit around this believer, مُدَّ الْبَصَرِ, as far as the eye can see. Surrounded by bright-faced angels as far as the eye can see. ثُمَّ يَأْتِي مَلَكُ الْمَوْتِ. Yes? All of these come around, bright-faced. Then the angel of death comes. Yes? Then the angel of death comes. The angel of death comes and goes where? حَتَّى يَجْلِسَ عِنْدَ رَأْسِهِ. Sits at this person's head, the one who is about to die. As far as he can see, there are angels from the heaven, bright-faced, with the kafan from the shroud of Jannah for him, to welcome him. Then Malakul Maut comes, sits at his head. وَيَقُولُ. And Malakul Maut says to this person, أَيُّهَا النَّفْسُ الطَّيِّبَةِ. Oh, goodly soul. That means we have to be of goodly soul if we claim to be mu'min. أَيُّهَا النَّفْسُ الطَّيِّبَةِ. أَخْرِجِي. Come out now. To what? To the hellfire, to punishment. No. أَخْرِجِي إِلَى مَغْفِرَةِ اللَّهِ. Come out now to the forgiveness and the pardon of Allah. Come, feel it now. وَرِضْوَانِهِ. And His pleasure. Come. All the angels are surrounding. Malakul Maut sits here and tells you, come towards Allah's forgiveness, come. Who wouldn't want to rush to that? But the way I have been fed maut, squeezing of the grave, not that it doesn't take place, it takes place for those who have an ill, dirty heart. The one who claims to cry the love of Hussein, maut is something else. Angels come, bright-faced like the sun, kafan from Jannah. Malakul Maut comes and sits here at the head, and he says, now come to the forgiveness of Allah. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says that there is nothing more comforting like death. 1. 2, the angels come and sit around and we see their bright faces, handsome faces to welcome us. 2. 3, Malakul Maut comes and says, come to the maghfirah and the pleasure of Allah. 3, why then am I Shia of the Ahlul Bayt? Following, trying to, yes, sometimes we slip up, we sin, no one's ma'soom, agreed. But we are mu'min, yes or no? Why then am I trying to run away from this thing which should be a pleasure for me? No, beyond this. We are something that we would identify with the title of Shia, yes or no? Yes. Yes? As the Prophet ﷺ told his brother Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam, أَنْتَ وَشِيعَتُكَ عَلَى مَنَابِرَ مِن نُور. You and your Shia will be on pulpits of light. أنت وشيعتك على منابر من نور مبيضة وجوههم حولي في الجنة. They will be white-faced around me in my proximity in the Jannah. So we identify with this title of Shia Amir al-Mu'minin, yes or no? Yes. We do identify with this title. Fine. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has a message for us. أشد شيعتنا حبا. Indeed, the most strongest of our Shia, who have the strongest love for us. Okay, I'm not like that. Yes? All the Shia in the world, we are weak. Agreed. Yes? We're not in this category, let's say. Maybe some of you are, some of us are weak. The Prophet says, إِنَّ أَشَدَّ شِيعَتِنَا حُبًّا. For the strongest, who have the strongest love for us, خُرُوجُ نَفْسِهِ, his extraction of his soul to go to the hereafter, his death, basically, will be what? is like كشرب أحدكم في يوم الصف الماء البارد. Like in the heat of the summer sun, one of you being offered to drink cool water. His death will be like this. This is the one who loves the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt most. Maybe we're not like that, fine. He said the best cool water on a summer's day with which the heart feels tranquil. You can just, over here in the UK, the 28 degrees we had maximum. If someone in the noon of 28 degrees offered you a cool water, you would feel so refreshed. The Prophet was talking in Arabia. So look at the context of the hadith, 45 degrees plus, that in the summertime how refreshing is this? He said your death should be like this. The one who loves us most, fine. Maybe not in that category, fine. Let's put myself in the bottom of all the Shia, right at the bottom, fine. وَإِنَّ سَائِرَهُمْ. As for the rest of them, that's now me and you, yeah? We put ourselves in that category. The rest of them, as for the rest of them, لَيَمُوتْ. They will die. How? كَأَقَرَّ مَا كَانَتْ عَيْنُهُ. The most delighted and his happiest his eyes have ever been will be at the time of death. For the one who loves the Prophet and his family most is like that cool drink on a deep summer's day which refreshes the heart. On the point of death, someone gives you water that summer's day. Like for everyone else, for the rest of the Shia, of the Ahlul Bayt, the rest of the followers of the Ahlul Bayt, is like the best thing you've ever experienced. The coolest, most delighted your eyes have ever been. Well, that is, as long as we are Shia, followers of the Ahlul Bayt, means not our name is Hassan or Muhammad or Ali or no. It's the one who follows the, not names, principles that they stood for, then we're in this category. Which inshallah we all hope to follow these principles. Freedom, justice, love of mankind, love of one another, closeness to Allah, all the things we've been speaking about over the last 10 days. Yes? If we are weak, we are going to sin, nobody is ma'soom. But if we aspire towards that, we are in this category. Then why is it I am still afraid? Why when the word death comes, I feel like somebody quickly change the subject? Why? Why is it like this? If I should be in that category? We have the answer from Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. لما سئل عن علة كراهة الموت. When he was asked about the reason for people hating death. Why do they hate death? They shouldn't, right? If it's like this, why do they hate it? What did he reply? لِأَنَّهُمْ جَهِلُوهُ فَكَرِهُوهُ. Because they are ignorant of it, they hate it. So the man who Imam was talking to didn't understand properly. Because they are ignorant of it, that's why they hate it. So he asked. So the Imam explained further. مَا بَالُ الصَّبِي أو الْمَجْنُونَ يَمْتَنِعُ مِنَ الدَّوَاءِ. How do you feel like sometimes most of us should probably have kids around here. The kid is ill, fever, restless. You give them that Calpol or something which you know. You give it half an hour, 15 minutes, the fever will go down and they'll feel much better. When you try to give them Calpol, they're going to take it or they'll turn away and cry more. The Imam says, what do you think about the crazy person or the young child who is avert, who doesn't want to take this medicine which is helpful for that person, ad-dawa libadanihi, is going to help his body from alam, from pain. Why does he want to go away from it? Why does he refuse to take it? What do you think about this person? So the man replied, لِجَهْلِهِمْ بِنَفْعِ الدَّوَاءِ. Because they are ignorant of the benefits of the medicine. So they want to keep away from it. Imam said, exactly. The same thing is with the people. وَأَمَّا إِنَّهُمْ لَوْ عَرِفُوا. If only they had, toward me and you now, if only they had known مَا يُؤَدِّي إِلَيْهِ الْمَوْتِ, what death is going to bring for this person. What death is going to give this person. If only they knew what death will give them. مِنَ النِّعَمِ, from the blessings of Allah, Would they be scared of it? No, beyond this, Imam says, لَاسْتَدْعُوهُ وَأَحِبُّوهُ. They would summon it, death come now, they would love it to come to them. We should be in that category. We are like the children who are not aware of the good thing that the medicine is going to give to my body. The children try to keep away from medicine. He said the mu'min, the believer, is like this because they're not aware of the amount of ni'mah Allah will give them at the point of death. They try to run away. If they had known, they would summon it to come to them. وَأَحِبُّوهُ. They would love it. They would love it. We should be in that category. Not fearful of death, but loving death. Perhaps if we try greater to rectify our own akhirah now, we should have that towards death. Because I know what I'm doing to my akhirah with every action I do. That my salat is deficient, my sawm is not for Allah, it's for people, my hajj, so people call me hajji, not so, I bring nothing from this, nothing from this. I know all the sins I commit, and the ghiba, so I know what I'm doing to my akhirah. Maybe that's why I'm afraid of death. If we rectify ourselves, we should be like that the Prophet calls Shia. The best ones, okay, we aspire to that. Where at least should be on the rest of them, where death should be the best thing that we actually experience. So, to recap quickly before we close, 1, death, despite the fact the one thing I don't want to talk about, it's inescapable. It's the only certainty I have in my life is I'm going to die. Apart from that, I don't know any certainty. 2, death for the believer is the most pleasant thing they can experience. We shouldn't be afraid, we should be looking forward. 3, death is an introduction to Allah's ridwan, His pleasure, His ni'mah. 4, it is because I am ignorant of death, I am fearful of it, I want to run away from it, which I shouldn't be. And the closing note, we repeat the hadith, we repeat at the beginning of this discourse from our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa Tuhfa, the word tuhfa has various meanings in Arabic. Tuhfa can mean adornment, something makes you look good, jewelry, some nice suit that has good fitting, yeah? The way you look, that's tuhfa can mean this. Tuhfa can also mean the magnum opus, means all your life's achievement. You say, I produced this. After all my hard work I became this. Michelangelo, when he painted the Sistine Chapel of the church, that was his masterpiece. Tuhfa means masterpiece. The Prophet says, as for the mu'min, he's talking to you and I. We said we all claim to be mu'min, right? That's what we claimed just now. Prophet we believed, Allah we believed, the Imams we believed, everyone we believed. We should be mu'min. In that case, the masterpiece, the highlight of the life, the absolute thing a person is proud of. For the mu'min is what? Tuhfatul mu'min al-maut. Is the death. That is the masterpiece. We should be aiming for that, not running from it. But to have that mindset of to love it, we might have to make some changes in our life. That our death should be like a lover now running to the beloved. And my beloved is calling me back, can't wait to see me. This should be our attitude towards it. But that means changes in our life. The ones who loved Allah most and Allah loved most, He took back towards them. As for the shuhada of Karbala, when they were martyred, they were in the hands of the Prophet who was feeding them with his own hand the coolest water. Their suffering had ended. Their heaven had started. Their bliss had started. For those who were left behind, their hell was just beginning. Until now they had some menfolk with them to help them. Now the men have gone. As we have from the stories of Karbala, after the tragedy on that night when the horses came to loot the camp. We have one daughter of Hussein alayhi salam is narrating that the horses were coming trampling towards the camp and they entered our camps. The camps of the women they entered. And they knocked me, she is saying, they prod a stick into my back, they knocked me to the floor. The man came and sat next to me on the floor, this cursed enemy of Islam. He ripped the earrings from my ears began to bleed, and the blood was running down my neck. Then he started pulling at my feet, because he saw the anklet which is there, he wanted to steal it. He is pulling at my feet to steal it, and he is crying. I asked this man, Ya Adu Allah, O enemy of Allah, why are you crying? He said, because I know I am robbing the daughter of the Prophet. She said, then why are you doing this? He said, because if I don't steal it, someone else will come and steal it, and I want it. This greed that all of us carry in our hearts, remember, this was what they had in their hearts. It made them kill the son of the Prophet and torture his family. Let us expel this from our hearts from now. This man was robbing the daughter of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and then the tents were burned to the floor. The women are running out of the tents because they are burning, running this way and running that way to escape. One woman is running into the tents. The women are escaping the fire. There is one woman running, crying out, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Sajjad, looking for her Imam. That night fell. The next day came. Imagine how long that nightfall was. The next day came, and the enemies of Islam decided that they will take these women, these Fatimiyat, the daughters of Fatima, they were to take them as prisoners. They mounted, and they were making them on purpose and intentionally walk beside and through the dead bodies of their martyred ones so that they could feel the pain more. As the women started crying and they were going through that battlefield looking at the bodies, Zainab, we hear alayha salam, jumped down from her mount and ran into the battlefield. She found the body of her brother. She wasn't looking for anyone else. She found the body of her brother. Did she start crying? Did she start lamenting, why have you done this? Did she tell him, why have you left me? The history says she put her two hands underneath the body as far as she could. Her weak hands, as much as they could carry and lift up the body she carried. She looked to the sky and cried, Allahumma taqabbal minna hadha al-Qurban. Aradita ya Rab, khudh hatta tarda, khudh hatta tarda. Are you pleased with us now, my Allah? Take from us as long as we can attain your pleasure. This caravan was then taken from Karbala to Kufa. And Zainab alayhi salam addresses the people in Kufa, O people of treachery, O people of deception. And they are taken then to Sham. Do you know what Sham was? After seeing his father slaughtered, after seeing his uncles martyred, after seeing his sister slapped, after seeing the tents looted and burned down, after seeing the hands and the arms of his uncle cut, after seeing his 6-month-old be martyred also, his brother, after seeing all this, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam is asked what was the worst part of this tragic episode. He didn't say Karbala, he didn't say the chest of Akbar, he didn't say the throat of Asghar, he didn't say the arms of Abbas, he didn't say the thirst, he said Ash-Sham. Asham, Asham, this was the worst time. The daughters of Fatima are made to stand outside in the burning sun, outside the court of Yazid for hours, until they are dragged inside. Zainab alayha salam and Kulthum alayha salam have their heads bowed. They look up and they see the princess of Sham, the wife of Yazid. Her name was Hind. Her name was Hind. The wife of Yazid is sitting up on her throne, and the prisoners are coming in. Zainab alayhi salam turns to Kulthum, Ya Ukhayya, ata'arafina hadhihi al-jariya? This young girl you see in front of you, who is the princess of the time, do you recognize her? Kulthum says, no, I don't recognize her. Zainab alayhi salam tells Kulthum, كانت هي خادمتنا في المدينة. This woman, she was our maid in our house in Medina. Then she was sold on and she went to in the house of Yazid. Yazid married her. Now she is here. Do you recognize her? Now she is coming. This Hind sees these people and she addresses them. Min ayna antum? Where have you come, O prisoners? Zainab alayhi salam doesn't reply. All the crowd is silent. She comes down closer and says, Min ayna antum? She is a princess, remember, of the time. Zainab alayhi salam silently replies, Nahnu min ahli al-Madina. Hind falls to the floor on her knees. Zainab alayhi salam asks her, why have you come down as a princess on your knees? She says, Ila ahli al-Madina afdalu salam. May the best salam and greetings be on the people of Medina. Zainab alayhi salam asks her, oh lady, what do you know about Medina that you respect them so much? She says, I used to be in one household. I was the slave girl, the maid in Medina. Then Hind tells Zainab alayhi salam, can I ask you one question? Can I ask you about something about Medina? Zainab alayhi salam tells her, Sali ma bada laki, ask whatever you want to ask us. She says, I want to ask you about the house of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And I want to ask you about my master Hussein who is in Medina. I want to ask you about his brother Abbas and his children. How are they? I'm asking about that household. Zainab looks up, oh Hind. I am Zainab standing in front of you. If you are asking about the arms of Abbas, they were cut in Karbala. If you are asking about Dar wa Ali, we left that Dar in Karbala, chopped from their heads lying on the sand. If you are asking about the brothers of Abbas, they were all martyred. And if you are asking about your Mawla, your master Hussein, this is his head in front of you. After the tragedy of Karbala and Kufa and Sham, when they were finally released after spending their time and leaving the aman of Hussein alayhi salam behind in the dungeon and burying her there, they were released. They went to Karbala to Dulzir and they headed back towards Medina. Only Allah knows that this time in Medina, was it more difficult when they were leaving Medina knowing they're going towards martyrdom, or is this more difficult coming back home without the house with them, having left them in Karbala? That they sent the traveler to go ahead and announce that the Ahlul Bayt are coming in. As he went forward, Kulthum is looking at the city of Medina from a distance and she cries out, Ya Medina tajaddina la taqbalina fa inna bil asa wal husni jina. Oh city of my grandfather, don't take us back, don't accept us, for we have come now with tragedy and sorrow. As this messenger enters Medina, the city, to inform the people that the Ahlul Bayt are coming back now, he starts announcing that Ahlul Bayt are coming. One woman holding a young child calls him, come to me. What is the story of Hussein? Has he come back? The man tells him Hussein alayhi salam's story is that he was martyred in Karbala. The woman asks, how is this possible? I sent my Abbas. The man says, woman, be proud, your Abbas was the hero of Karbala, Ya al-Baneen. That Abbas gave both of his arms before he gave his life for his master. As Imam al-Sajjad enters the masjid, the mosque of the Prophet, he could not ascend the pulpit because he was too weak. He could not sit on the floor because he was too weak. He could not stand in the place and address because of his weakness and illness. They brought a seat and a saddle for him to sit on that. He seated and he began telling the crowd, oh people, which eye can remain dry from yours after what has happened to us? That we were once slaughtered in Karbala, and then our family came forward and they paraded the head of my father from city to city. Imam alayhi salam would take every opportunity to remind the people of this tragedy throughout his life. that in Medina, when he is walking past the butcher and the butcher is about to slaughter the animal, Imam asked the butcher, "Oh butcher, have you fed this animal water? As is the etiquette before you slaughter the animal." The man says, "Oh Imam, of course, this is the least we can do for a beast, a creation of Allah. Before we slaughter him, we give it water." Imam says, "Do you know my father was there?" And Imam lamented so much of this tragedy that one man asked him, "Ya Zain al-Abidin, until when will you cry over this? When will you stop this lamentation? Until when will you harm yourself over this? It's harming your health. Until when will you mourn this tragedy?" Imam tells him, "Woe unto you. You have been most unjust. Do you not know that Yaqub was removed from Yusuf? And Yaqub knew that his son Yusuf is alive. He was separated from him, but that love of separation, that separation from him, the love was so strong that the Quran says he cried so much, إِبْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ بِالْحُزْنِ, that his eyes went blind and white out of the grief. He knew his son Yusuf was alive and well. Just that separation from him made him cry so much that he went blind. Man, I saw my father slaughtered. I saw the 6-month-old Hamdan. I saw the chest of Akbar. I saw the arms of Abbas. I saw the robes on the arms of Zainab. I saw the robes around the neck of the children. I saw the whip of the enemies. Oh man, I buried my sister in Sham." ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. إنا لله وإنا